Donnie B got the beats.
Yo, what up?
Yo, feeling that intro beat though. That's what's up.
Man, boom bap. You know that's what I do. Donnie B do got the beats, and he do got the beat. I like what I did there. Anyway, this Donnie B got the beats for all for all those that's tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. On this episode, we have the luxury of having the gorgeous NaeNae Vision. This is a young lady I met out. This is a young lady I met out here in LA while I, in my pilgrimage to try to take over the world, but have not done so yet. But came across NaeNae through shout out to my manager Ivan Bisson.
Hey,
Ivan, he in Boston right now, man. Hey, big shouts out. But came across NaeNae. The thing I admired about this woman is her hustle, man. This lady hustles like how I hustle. She hustles like she from the East Coast hustle.
Okay.
And that's hard to find out here. You know what I'm saying? There's no shade to those folks that come out there. But people out here in LA seem to be genuinely like Hollywood sometimes. But this lady right here, she gets down. She's multifaceted. It's not just about music. It's about overall entertainment. It's about presenting a good professional image, professional quality, everything about how if you want your product to stand for something, this woman hustles to get it done, to make it done that way. And I respect her the most for it. And I was like, you gotta be on the show. You gotta bring you on the beat. So without further ado, entrepreneur, recording artist, NaeNae Vision. What's good?
Oh, I appreciate you so much for, just acknowledging me, period. So that means a lot, just them words, because I'm a natural born hustler. So you said it, you got it right.
What they say, like minds think alike. You know what I'm saying?
Are you left-handed too?
Nah, I'm only right-handed.
Oh, okay.
But I wave with my left hand though, just fine.
Ambidextrous.
But what's funny about it? If you're left-handed, that's awesome because they say people who are left-handed are that's a genius level trait. Not sure if you knew that.
I know. What's funny is I do talk to some left-handed people, and there's like a lot of theories that go back to left-handed people, back to like the Salem witch trials, where if you were left-handed, they literally thought you were evil and cut off your hand. And there's stories in the Bible that tie back to left-handed people, and it's so awkward that you say that though, because I'm like, imagine if I was living in them times, I wouldn't even have a hand right now.
Hey, man, you don't think that's excessive?
Like it is, but I mean, stuff back then was pretty crazy. You know what I mean?
Facts. But it's just to be like, you're left-handed. Well, whatever. Hey, say love me. So NaeNae, how you doing? First of all, let's start there.
I'm actually doing okay. I'm excited for this year to end. I'm ready for the new year to begin. So everybody's been going through it and being stuck at home and staying as creative as possible. So everybody's ready for a new blessing to come along. And hopefully with the new year, that's what's going to happen.
Indeed. Those are actually eloquent words for real, because you is right. I can't wait for 2020 to be over with. I swear, I got it down on my phone. I got an alarm in my phone. I don't even need to say it annually. We do this. Nah, we good. As soon as 2021 laying down, we in.
Drop the ball.
You can say, drop the ball, go to sleep. Night. We out. Nah, that's dope though. So, tell us, who is NaeNae Vision? Like, give us the backstory on like what got you here, the person we see today.
Well, NaeNae Vision is a person who is inspired through art, through music, through the streets, through the struggle, which brought me here to Hollywood. So, I was just a kid that used to be a thespian in art and do drama and be in chorus and stuff like that, wanting to sing, wanting to entertain. My mom loved music. My brother is a cellist. He plays in the Philharmonic. So, me, I just always had a natural love for hip hop, especially growing up. Like salt and pepper were everything to me. So before karaoke existed, I used to get them clear tapes, put them in the tape player, and I would hit record with the radio station, and I would go back, I would rewind it, and I literally would get like a pen and a paper, and I would write down every single lyric until I knew the song. And then like 2 years later, karaoke came out, and I'm like, I done wrote all these words when I could have had them on the screen. Like, what in the world? I could have made karaoke and been rich off of that, like Chartbusters or something, you know? Yeah, just for the love of music, that's what made me who I am today. And then I'm actually like a painter, a sculptor. I do illustrations. I do my own little children's books. I do a lot of creative things. So I'm always making jewelry, whatever I could do to just, pass the time by and stay positive.
It's interesting, and this is why I think that we kind of hit it off as soon as we talked. It's always been G with you, and I gotta say that I'm saying it on camera so you can hold me to it. You do so much, and I'm sure that, and I don't want to say I'm sure that because I don't even want to put that on you. Have you encountered people who just feel kind of like fire hosed by you with the amount of stuff that you can do and do well? Do you ever get that whole conversation where it's like you do too much?
Some people feel that I'm too ambitious sometimes, and I feel like there's nothing wrong with that, especially the way that I was raised. My mom always was like, no, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to be a multitasker, especially her being a single parent and trying to get us to do the right thing. It was always like, you got to do more than the average person because we don't have a dad. You got to help mom out. You got to do this, you got to do that. So that's kind of where that hustle mentality came from, and just pursuing to do better and do more growing up in the projects, having just me, my mom, and my brother. So my mom always like wanted us destined for greatness no matter what we did. And that's why I always feel like to this day, even being here at the building sometimes, you know what I mean? It's just like they don't ask me to do certain things. I'll find trash outside if the trash in the kitchen need to be thrown. Little things like that other people in the building, no matter what their status is going to be, they're not going to look out for little things like that. You know what I mean? If like the hand soap is low or we need paper towels, like mention it, let somebody know. Like I go above and beyond, I feel sometimes a little bit, not only because of me, who I am genuinely as a person, but I want to look out for the entire building as a collective, because not only does it reflect my business and their business, but us as a whole. You know what I mean?
No, I totally understand.
It's kind of like looking out for your neighbor. You know what I mean? Like if somebody goes out of town, you don't want them to jack you, like some Home Alone type of stuff, which is actually a great movie during this time of year. But
it's my favorite movie for holidays. It's my favorite Christmas movie.
Yes.
Yeah, well, no, it's interesting that you touch on that because I'm a product of a single parent household too. Again, not my entire life because my dad. I love my dad, and that's a whole nother thing for a whole nother scenario. But from the age of 11 on, it was a single parent household, and I got my hustle from that. And the fact that you say that, do you think that that has a lot to do with it? I mean, I understand with specificity to your situation that got you there. But encountering other people that are like-minded, that move like how you move and so forth and so on, would you happen to say that they are, or have you experienced that they may be from a single-parent household too? And do you feel that has an effect on the hustlers to get out there and get after it, whereas normal people, who maybe coming from a dual-parent household never really had to hustle that way?
Yeah, I definitely feel that when you come from a background where you're a lot less fortunate, you just have a hunger to want more. And when you already have that, it's kind of boring. You know what I mean? So when you come from a place where you got your parents and you have everything, it's kind of like you don't appreciate it as much. You take things for granted. And when you don't have those things, you're hungry to get it. And it's like you have to hustle. And it kind of actually, it means a little bit more when you hustle harder to get those things because you appreciate them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And sometimes it's like people want to be like, oh, can I borrow your microphone? Can I borrow this? Can I borrow that? Can I rent it out? And you got these people that you deal with, and then they take your stuff and they ruin it or they mess it up, and you have that trust with them, and things just end up being the way that they are sometimes. But like I've in the past learned from my mistakes by trusting people and thinking that they were going to take care of things. And the way that I handle myself and my integrity with people and doing things like that is a lot different from how they treat me back. So it's just, I don't know. Integrity is everything. Integrity, I feel, is like there's nothing like it, especially during September. I found $300 in an ATM and I returned it to the police station. Well, 3 months later, they called me back, let me know nobody claimed it. So in 4 months, I get the $300. But it's just things like that. Like I could have taken the money, not said nothing to the cops, not said nothing to nobody, and just been like, oh, whatever. I got me some money. Whoop-de-woo. Ha, 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 ha. I'm cool. You know what I mean? But I went out of my way because I didn't know if that was a single parent. That could have been somebody like my mother who needed diapers, who needed milk, who needed medication. And then the way that things are going with COVID right now, I felt like it was just something a part of who I am to be able to have that integrity and show people that things and people like me still do exist, like that goodness in the world it still exists, even if it might be like 1% to 3%. Like I want to be that person who enables other people to do good, because there's so many sick, twisted, wrong things that are happening in the world, not just with politics, not just, in our personal lives, but it also goes down to like more of like a spiritual type of battle that we have going on here as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and it's kind of singing to my soul, actually. It's funny about that, because the fact of the matter is that you have the thought process, you have that sight beyond sight to be able to think like that. Most people don't. Most people think, but that's what's dope about you, and it says so much about your character and what you're built on, that you will be able to handle the blessings that come, the multitude of blessings that come in the future, because you know how to treat it in the present. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do feel that that's why God has blessed me the way he has blessed me, because when it comes to different scenarios and situations like that, I'm more the type of person out the box to do extraordinary things that ordinary people wouldn't do. You know what I mean?
I would for me, I would take it and say I can do extraordinary things at normal people's level. But I'm arrogant like that, to be honest. So I know you didn't say it, but I would say it, and I'll take the heat for it. But no, that's a dope saying nonetheless, regardless. So with all that being said, off script a bit, being that you are, a woman in the music industry, self-made, accomplished a lot. You know what I'm saying? Especially here in LA, you have your own compound where you have not even just a recording studio, but you have, the viewing studio, the podcasting studio, all of these things.
Well, thank you to our partners for telling Ilani I have all those amenities. But yeah, I mean, I'm ready to work, and I'm ready to get you up in here next week too. So let's start working on some music.
You already know it's going down. But to be able to say that in the industry that it is, because it's over time, it has been predominantly a male dominated industry, right? Mm-hmm. But the fact that you are actually walking the walk, whereas I've had previous people, guests on who are also into walking the walk, but you have these things at your disposal because of your hustle, that you don't.
I literally live studio life. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like you live and breathe it. Like it is what it is.
My life. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Could you speak to And we'll go back to, you know, aspiring talent and speak specifically to them. But could you speak to what it's like being a woman here and now, dealing with everything that you're dealing with COVID, with dealing with, you know, people that don't come through with what they're supposed to come through with their deliverables, so to speak, all of the above, but still have aspirations on your own, but still make time for yourself to do these other endeavors that's well far beyond music. Could you speak to that?
I would just say that honestly, without having kids, that's what gives me the time to be able to be here. If I was a mother and I had kids, I don't think that I would be spending that time, especially with COVID, because everybody's at home tending to their families and stuff. Right. So me, like, I always kind of had my future planned for me since I was 15, because how I told you, growing up with a single parent. And I always told my mom, you know, I'm either going to have it all or I'm going to be comfortable having nothing the way that we always have. And I know what it's like to have nothing. So the only way it's going to get better is if I have it all or continue to be comfortable the way it is. So, you know what I mean? So the way that I look at things is like, it can only get better. It could just stay the same. And for me, things really don't stay the same. Things change usually every day. But, I just feel like I'm blessed to be able to be creative and be able to do what I'm doing. And with the times, the way that things are, a lot of people don't have the opportunities that I have to be able to be creative in a collective, in a business, in a building like this, with so many businesses shut down, especially being in Hollywood, being in LA. There's only like so many restrictions that we have. So the fact that I have my own studio and I'm able to do those things, it's like, wow. For a long time, from March up until about September, the building was closed and I took some time to go back home and go to New Mexico and hang out with family and stuff. But what was kind of amazing, I mean, a lot of people were upset that we had this whole time where, like, you know, oh, we got to get back to work. Things are boring. What's going on with the real world? I kicked back and I was like, you know what? I haven't had a chance to paint in 10 years. I got a scholarship for art, for sculpting and art. And I said, you know what? I'm going to paint. And I painted my ass off for like this whole year. I made about 30 to 50 paintings. And this weekend I sold 4 paintings and I already made over $500 this week. Awesome. By actually going back into the craft that I love from before it was movies, before it was music, before it was film, before it was acting, all that stuff, where my art really originally came down to was drawing and painting and stuff like that. So I had a chance to do that this summer, this whole year, and it made me feel like amazing because I haven't been able to put the time and dedication that I always say that I'm going to make to do it. And then it finally happened. And I'm like, you know what? You always say you're going to make time. You never do. And then you finally did. And it's like, you can always make time. And now every day I go into the kitchen in the studio and I start a new piece and I start painting a couple strokes and then I take off and I go do my DoorDash, my Instacart. Then I come back, I go smoke a blunt, work on some music, whatever, do some emails. Like, I'm all over the place. I'm busy. And sometimes, like how I told you, some people be saying I be doing too much. And it's like, well, if I had kids, if I had a man, I wouldn't have the time to be doing this. So luckily I have the time to be able to do what I can do now. Because if I get knocked up in the future, I get married or whatever, now's the time. So,
right,
you know, making that happen. And hopefully soon we got this room next door that I painted. We're going to be adding foam, turning it into another podcast room. So my podcast is going to be coming soon. And then I'm going to be featuring you on one of my shows too.
I'd love to be on it.
So I'm excited about that.
This face is made for everybody's podcast. I'm just here to tell you now. I'm joking. But no, listen, I seriously understand exactly what you're saying. But again, it shows the dedication to the hustle and everything that you say. You actually live and breathe the hustle. And not everybody can say that. A lot of people love to be able to say, oh, well, I'm a hustler and all this extra stuff, but their work does not represent it. But you actually represent it and that's awesome for you. You know what
But
I
I
mean?
be selling incense and magnets and all kinds of stuff out of my trunk. You know what I mean? So I'm the type of person I can make $1 out of trash if I want to. You know what I mean? I could go curb shopping in Beverly Hills and pick up a vacuum and a TV and make $100 by the end of the day on OfferUp and let go. You know what I mean?
And and the funny thing about it is that there's a lot of people in the world that would frown upon that $100. But I'm telling you, when you short that $100,
I ain't too proud to beg shit.
hey, listen, I take $100 and I stack it.
Right?
Give me 2 more just like it, and we in business.
I got these cheeseburgers.
Indeed. Thanks.
No, but one thing I did want to mention, because I know you're saying, like, you know, asking about NaeNae Vision, how I developed myself. The name actually came to me when I was in 7th grade. I was curling my bangs and I was trying to do that whole swipe like Aaliyah used to cover the one eye thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I burned my whole eyeball. So for 4 months, I was blind in 7th grade. I was wearing a patch and I couldn't see. So I had to have like eye surgery and putting creams in my eye and all this stuff. So eventually one day my vision came back and everybody always called me NaeNae or Shanae from Martin. So the name Vision just kind of was like NaeNae Vision, and it just kind of stuck. And then ever since 7th grade, that kind of just became, I'm an old school tagger, so you know what I mean. So I used to tag that on the walls back in the day. So I mean, obviously I'm still an artist, but back like 2 weeks ago, I went downtown LA with a bunch of graph artists, and I actually got to like get down on a wall and stuff, and it made me feel good because for so long when you're out in Albuquerque, like that's considered, you know, like wrong. You can't do art artistically freely on walls like that. So when I was doing it, I felt like so free, and I was like, I gonna get in trouble for doing this. This is awesome. So now they be calling me and they're like, hey, are you gonna come to an art session? I'm like, I gotta buy some paint cans, because I be telling them, like, even though I'm just an amateur, like I got some skills, I can get down, but I wanna get better. You know what I mean?
Low key, I could tag too.
Can you? Well then shit, let's get down.
I'd love to be free in LA for a second.
That would be awesome.
You were to paint some shit, I'm gonna paint it.
Hell yeah. Well, the next event I get invited to, I'll invite you, and maybe we could take some cans and go be artistic on a wall somewhere. They be getting down though, like they be climbing walls and going up to billboards, and I can't do all that, you know.
I know there's a whole little thing that's called, like, there's a term for it. I'm not doing that shit. I ain't getting up on nobody's ladder or billboard. Listen, I am African American, okay? I understand these things. And there's certain things about me, if it's ground level and I can get up out of there if the cops come, we lit. But all that, I'm gonna get up on the water tower and you see
right,
it, then I'll be like, like they'll be like, oh, what are you doing? And I'll be like, I can't. You know.
And then your hands are all covered in paint, like, no, it wasn't me. I caught you red-handed. They're blue.
Like Shaggy, wasn't me. It just wasn't me. That's awesome. But yeah, now you got an interesting story, but we really quick, because I was getting ready to move on, but then I had to recourse and come back. You say you burned your eyeball?
Yes.
Okay, so like the eyeball, like not just like that, the lid that right
not
here.
like the skin. I'm talking about like the inside of the eyeball, the actual iris.
So
like
you
the whole part, it was white. It had like a white film on it. It was bad. I thought I was never gonna see again. My mom was crying. She thought I lost my eyeball forever.
So I'm not stuck. Like the screen wasn't stuck. I was stuck because I was trying to envision it, and that's horrific. Like,
no, like if you Google eye images of people burning their eyeball with the curling iron, you'll see like my whole eyeball sizzled. It turned white. So like the fact that they were able to freaking save my eyeball, like that's why I go by NaeNae Vision, because I could have had one eye.
Well, listen, for future reference, I appreciate the fact that you don't have the sizzle eyeball. But you know, I'm just trying to envision it, because I don't know what to say when you know what I'm saying. Like, how do you support somebody? But like it could be worse. Like, but nobody wants to hear that when they got the sizzle eyeball. Like, it's like, bro, you know. So, but I'm glad you're better now, and that's a whole experience to draw from. But for me, I just It's forever going to be the sizzle eyeball. I don't know what.
7th grade with braces and a pirate patch. You know what I'm saying? Like that was some shit.
I'd have been like you the ruler, like Slick Rick. Like it's what it is. You just R.
Did your name start with R?
You're right, R. RNA. So yeah, well, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. Sorry, but I'm again glad that you obviously beat that scenario situation. So
I know, otherwise I'd be Fetty Wap number 2. Fetty Wapper.
But hey, it didn't stop him. So
I'm serious, though. He's dope. I love him.
Yeah, it didn't stop him at all. So I mean, hey, YOLO.
Even if you have physical like impairments, like there's like I tell people all the time, especially when they have insecurities about being handicapped, or they have these physical things, you know, some people have like burn marks or whatever it may be, like they have their insecurities, and it's like as long as you have that drive, like it really shouldn't matter, like you're gonna shine regardless, you know what I mean? Because the physical, what we're given, the shell, it doesn't matter to what you have inside. So but obviously we in Hollywood, and that's how most of these people are, they think about vanity and you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's all about image and the aesthetics on the outside.
Well, it's funny, a little known fact about me. I got 2 toes that's the same size. It's ridiculous. I hate it. And everybody else is like, you're stupid. And I'm just like, I don't want to show my feet because it's like 2 toes the same size. It's like they see eye to eye. It's like, what's happening?
Symmetrical.
It's symmetrical. See, this the art coming out. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
But, I digress. So let's move on. How did you get into the music industry? Like specifically, how did you say, you know what, I am going to be in the music industry? God damn it! And you made that move. How did you do it?
I would have to say the first moment. I know they were having like a radio drive in high school, and they were giving away tickets for a Christmas tree. And it was around this time my mom was going through some shit, and she was like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to get you guys a Christmas tree this year. And me and my brother, like, we're whatever, you know what I mean? We were already like teenagers, like, hey, let's get a bottle of Jack and some eggnog. Who gives a fuck about a tree? You know what I mean? So they were having this contest on the radio. If you sing a song that they pick, then you'll win the tree. So here I am borrowing my mom's little Nokia cell phone, like, trying to get in. Boom, we break the line. She sings the song, she wins. And then from that moment, when they had asked who it was on the radio, and I was like, oh, this is NaeNae Baca, and I was pretending to be somebody else, be older, my mom, and be 18, and I got away with that. And then they played it on the radio. I was on the fucking radio. Like, I could do this shit. Like, if I could pretend I'm 18 and they believe me and they recorded me and they put me on the radio, actually be on the radio. So from that moment on, I kind of figured, like, you know what? I think I want to be in radio. And they'd always have these contests. I'd be at home jamming, doing dishes, cleaning the house, 16, 17 years old. Like, oh, I want those tickets. I want to go to this concert, but I know my mom ain't going to buy them. I would always win. And then I would use her birth date, and she would go to the radio station and pick me up tickets, and me and my friend would go to concerts. So that's how I knew that I wanted to be in like radio, not so much entertainment in movies. In high school, that's when I did acting, and I was like, oh, I want to do acting. But for me, it's always kind of been more radio and singing, because I feel I can express myself how I want to instead of being given a script and told how to act. You know what I mean? So that's why I've always felt more comfortable rapping and singing. But when I got my job, when I was like 24, I was working as a bartender in the strip club. There was a karaoke bar across the street. I was a bartender. I was making more money than the bitches dancing, and I was dating the DJ. So me and him were, at the end of the night, we was racking up on them hoes. Like, hell yeah. But no, so there used to be this karaoke bar across the street. It was called Graham Central Station. I went there to go have a drink, and I sang a karaoke song. The lady that was the host brought me backstage, and she's like, would you be interested in a position working as a singer here? And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, you'll get paid $13 an hour. And at that time, everybody in New Mexico, the minimum wage was $7.50 an hour. And if you were a waitress and you were working in restaurants, you were getting paid $2.50 an hour plus tips. So I was working morning 6 hours in the morning. I was making good money, you know what I mean, at this restaurant. But then I started working nights, and then I was selling Avon. So I was working 3 freaking jobs at like 24, bought me a Volvo. Things were going good. I loved my job. I did it for like 5-6 years. And I was just so proud because I was like, how in the hell am I going to get offered a job getting paid double what everybody's getting paid doing what I love to do? I mean, I'm not singing my own music. I'm singing other people's music, but I'm still entertaining. I'm still at work having fun, and I'm getting paid to be an entertainer. So for me at that point, I felt like, yo, I could really fucking do this. Like, I could really entertain. You know what I mean? And then they started doing background casting for Breaking Bad and stuff like that. And my mom was like, watching the news, like, Mia, they're doing background casting. You should go to the audition. Da, 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 da. So I was like, all right. So then I started going to auditions, and my friends started becoming casting managers and stuff like that. And then I just started getting little parts here and there. And then when I finally moved to Hollywood, the third day that I was here, I found a Craigslist ad for a music video, and they were looking for a like Latina chola type looking kind of girl. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna put my hair in a little pompadour, add my little bandana, throw me some brown lip liner, my hoops, you know what I mean? Get a little ghetto like I know how to do, go to the audition. They had me dance, and then I got called the next day. And then from that day, I was like, and the number 3 resonates with me a lot because the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, me, my brother, and I see the number 3, 313, 13, 33, 333, like all the time. And they say it's like a spiritual angel number, and everybody in my family is pretty much passed. So when I see that, and I'm living in, you know, Los Angeles, the city of angels, I feel like I'm really blessed, like I'm protected. And I feel like as hard as my integrity and my hustle is, I really feel like how I told you spiritually, I really feel that like I have guidance and protection around me. And that's why I've been able to make it where I've been, where I've wanted to be.
No, it's understandable. I mean, the story is dope. The whole nine, like it's dope. It's real, and that's what I appreciate so much about it, because you always get people who want to watch these kind of podcasts. Oh, I want to know the story about somebody that's made it, and so forth and so on. Oh my God, they fell on hard times, and now they're no. This is an actual story from an actual person who's actually doing something with themselves. And I appreciate it so much. It's awesome.
Well, thank you for your interest.
No problem. Let's segue. So you're from New Mexico, right?
Yep.
So interesting.
Las Vegas, New Mexico, the original Southwest Las Vegas, not no flashy light city up north.
Okay. So little known fact. Donnie B got the beats. Government name unknown, because you don't need to know that information. But I worked for the Department of Defense for a good number of years. And I was a national field engineer. So I would go out and do installations all over the place. So the first time I went to New Mexico was Las Cruces.
Oh, wow.
And, I had to do installs at White Sands Missile Range.
Oh, that place is beautiful.
It is. But the experience was, I saw my first Roadrunner during that time. That's a whole nother conversation for another time. Saying all that to say, I have visited New Mexico quite a bit. I mean, flew into El Paso and then did a whole 9 and stuff like that outside of Juarez. That's crazy. But neither here nor there. You tell me, because you are homegrown, you are from that area. What was it like growing up in New Mexico?
For me, it was fun. Like, we have these things called balloon fiestas that come every year. When I go back home, I can't really eat the food because it's a little bit too spicy. And being out here 8 years already, like, it just don't mess well with my stomach. But
the chili is dope, though.
The chili's bomb. I love it on everything: pizza, fries, burgers, you name it. But I would say growing up in New Mexico, for me, it'll always be home. It'll always have my heart. I love New Mexico. There's just certain things about it that are so much different from LA. Like, it's more of a country type of Southwestern place. You know what I mean? It's not Hollywood. It's not lights. It's not glamour. It's not fashion. It's not anything like LA. It's completely different. It's like you be driving down a dirt road and people be like, hello. And you're like, hello. You know what I mean? It's not like, it's one of those type of like, you know what I mean? It's the Southwest. So it's way, way different. People treat you a lot differently too. So people want to be like very loving, very kind, and out here people just want to hate and just you know.
Yeah. No, I mean, but
you do have those gems though that fuck with you. So
and in low key, it is dope. Like it's a whole different vibe. That vibe ain't for everybody, but it is like a dope, like especially even like party life out there. Like to go to just hang out and kind of hot knob and network and just have fun. It has its things.
Yeah, you could go to the mountains, and like a lot of the time what we do is we'll go for a drive to the hot springs, and we'll take like a freaking 12-pack, sometimes a 30-pack in the back seat. Make sure we got a designated driver while we're drinking in the car. By the time we get there, climb up the mountain, chill in the water with the natural springs, get blessed, and then soak up all the minerals and go home. And yeah, like that's the type of stuff we do. We go hiking, just a lot of nature type of stuff. You know what I mean? We don't really have a beach, so we have to make the best out of it with what we got. So
right. Hey, listen. So this is a perfect time, since you brought up nature, to bring up my Roadrunner scenario. I got tasked to go to White Sands Missile Range. First time, flew into El Paso, drove on up, and like I said, and I literally walked out. Huh?
Yeah, they call it Chuco Town, El Paso. If you're from El Paso, they call it Chuco Town.
Chuco Town? Okay, cool. I don't even know why. You'll have to explain that. Literally got off the plane, and I'm like, cool. All right, this is different. Walk out front. Like, as soon as you walk out the doors, it was shh, and you walk out. And, I had to meet the little commuter van to take me to Las Cruces. And you can hear in the background. What's happening? And it was like, but it wasn't like right there, but it was like, what you can hear it. So I was like, okay, they're racking. Okay. I don't know what's happening. But then somebody was like, oh, that's Juarez over there. I was like, Juarez what? Juarez, and I was like, oh, okay. Then it was like, boop, 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 boop. And my spidey senses started tingling. I was like, okay, cool. I get it. As long as it's over there, I'm good. Got in the commuter van. The commuter van took me through up I don't remember what the interstate is right there, the highway or whatever.
I-40?
Sure. I still don't remember. Got to Las Cruces, got to my hotel, but right before we got to the hotel, we stopped at a traffic light. And it was this little bird. And it was the funkiest looking bird I've ever seen in my entire life. It had a mohawk and everything. And I was like, I have never seen a bird like that. What is that? And the dude was like, he said, bro, you never seen the Roadrunner? So, I'm from the East Coast. I'm not a country boy by any stretch of the imagination. When he said it was the Roadrunner, I immediately thought of Acme with Wile E. Coyote with the bird. And I'm thinking the Roadrunner like 6'2", 200 pounds, and all he do is eat bird seed. And I was like, oh, like, and then the light went green, and we took off. The bird kept up with the van.
Oh yeah.
Probably, I'd say probably about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Never seen nothing like that.
Chucking it out.
He was getting it. He was a cold flat out Carl Lewis, Michael Johnson, Usain Bolt. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, freaking out. And he was like, man, I definitely could tell you're from, you're not from here, because, we see that every day. And I was like, I just couldn't. Sorry, my iPhone is.
It's all good.
But
they're fun though, because if you find them in the backyard and you sneak up on them and you run up on them, they'll like run and jump on the fence and shit. They're funny. They're funny though, guys.
Any kind of pet I gotta run up and sneak up on the back, and it hops up on the fence. It's just all of that's bad for me. It just does not compute with who I am as a person.
So fun things growing up in New Mexico, chasing runners.
Growing up in New Mexico. See, this is what we get when we get these interviews on the beat, So, but that was my interest in New Mexico thing. But I'd actually, on total, like with all seriousness, I have frequented New Mexico, I think 5 times. 5 times. I've been in New Mexico 5 times. Las Cruces 4 out of the 5 times. Albuquerque 1 of the 5 times.
I love the only thing that bugs me about being back home is when it's cold. That's why I like living on the West Coast, because I actually originally, when I was getting ready to move home and be in the entertainment industry, when my mom was like, oh, go pursue acting, I was going to go to New York. I went to 28 different places around the United States to see where I wanted to live. And there was no place like LA. I was like, oh, 420 industry, my medication. Like I medicate all day, every day, smoking weed. Like, hello. So I was like, that right there had me. And then it's like, I suffer from spine issues and stuff like that, subluxations and everything. So for me, with the weather, whenever I'm out in the cold, I get like this. I'm like stiff. I'm like lurched. Like, you know what I mean? Like I cannot move. My neck gets stuck. So being out here with the warm weather, I'm able to move a lot better. And it's funny though, because like some senior citizens who suffer from like a lot of back issues, nerve issues, or anything like that, that's why they moved to Florida, because it's so warm, because it helps with their like body conditions and stuff like that. So for me, that's why I chose Cali over New York. It was a weather thing. But I mean, I love New York. I run New York now.
Listen, I never knew. I never thought about it from a perspective of it helps with your spinal bifida or whatever. I never knew. It never really thought about it. But I guess that I just got tired of shoveling snow. Okay, because that's for the birds. I'm not shoveling nobody.
Wow. Don't they got like a plow machine that comes through the neighborhood? You got to dig yourself?
Okay, so I'm from DC. I'm trying to tell you, there is not we don't have continuous snow like that. We get the most of everything that there is. All 4 seasons, we get the extreme hot, we get extreme humidity, we get extreme rain, we get extreme snow.
Leaves.
There it is. So it's like to get a plow, it's like I'm not in Buffalo. If I'm in Buffalo, it might or Chicago, maybe, but like in the grand scheme of things, no. It's not a viable investment, you know. Yeah. So that's my thing. So when I was like, I looked at it and I actually literally had it on my plate, and I have actual friends that could contest to this. Within 2 weeks, I had job offers between LA, New York, and the first week was New York. Called up my friends in New York. Was like, hey, listen, I got a job offer in Times Square, literally.
Damn, that's nice.
And it was like, you can always crash with us, until you get on your feet, so forth. So, all right. I don't know though. Let me hold out. Literally, the Monday of the next week. Man, we're gonna, what I'm saying? Like, we kind of wanted to get you out here in LA, see what you do. Is a job interview? Flew out to LA, stayed with some other friends. Went to the interview. Dude was like, hey man, I think we like you. We like to go with you. I think I'm gonna be here in LA, and I love it. And
how long you been here now?
Going on 6 years. So it'd be 6 years in March.
It's a vibe, though. It definitely is a vibe in LA.
Listen, I used to hate
you gotta live the vibe in order to understand it.
I used to hate that term. It's a vibe. I used to hate it. But it's a vibe. It really is. So, I'm in Angelino now. It's like, wow, I got the chain and everything. No, but like I said, at the end of the day, LA and I think that they're the same thing on different coasts. Different ways of attacking the same vibe. Yeah. That's what I feel from it. So within that, I'm glad that I moved to LA. I don't think I could. I know I would do fine in New York, but I feel I would maximize the potential.
I'd be fucking up in New York, especially without the whole 420 industry. I'd hella be illegal. I'd be doing all kinds of wrong in New York, especially without no weed. I'd be like going crazy, like I need my sanity.
I get it, but it's not legal. But they still do it because that's how New Yorkers do. They don't care. They buck the system. But it is what it is. So let's get back to this interview. You already tackled New Mexico because I was going to ask you New Mexico versus LA. You already said that. I'm not even gonna touch
I'm
that.
ahead of the game.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like the hustler.
Overly ambitious. See what that shit do to you?
Current projects.
Like, now that I was looking at that New Mexico versus LA, you know what's kind of one of the things that's always upset me about New Mexico in general is they don't ever consider us a big enough population to have an NBA or a NFL team. And I'm like, why everybody else? Like, you know what I mean? I grew up liking the 49ers because that's just, I liked their jackets and like, you know, all the merch that they had growing up and shit. That's what I was into. And it was either that or the Cowboys. But it always made me like wonder, like, why don't we have an NFL team? Why don't we have an NBA team? Like, all we have is college teams. So that got to change soon.
Yeah, look, I got a dog in that fight. If Phoenix has one, I'm sure that you guys can substantiate having one too. So I totally understand your point on that.
Yeah.
Things to think
but
about.
But who is the one to make that decision when you get an NFL team and an NBA team? Like, who does that? When they decide how many people you have in your state?
Again, if I knew that, I would, the beat would be different. We'd be sportscasting. So, my salary cap would be a little bit different than what it is right now. But no, but what I do think is that it does boil down to a committee. I do believe that. I do understand. I do think that that's what it is, because it's like anytime they want to add a new franchise to the locale, they want to see how lucrative it is. They want to see the population, the salary per capita overall. They want to be able to find, the destination, if it's an attractive destination for people to go to.
So there's a whole lot behind it, how they attract the volume to the.
Absolutely. And with the NFL specifically, I don't think they ever add a new franchise singularly. I think they always add two franchises at the same time. Just to keep the dichotomy between the East and the West Coast and so forth and so on, to keep it even. Because the last teams that came in, I think, were Carolina and the Ravens, I think. Okay. But yeah, I believe that in order to keep it even, they do it that way. But
the committee got to make the decision. Hopefully it ain't the itty bitty titty committee, but you know what I'm saying.
They need to get you on the board. How about that?
The board is gonna fall.
So, with regard to you, current projects, what you're currently working on?
So this summer I did tell you about a book that I illustrated and wrote about my dog Ripley. That's in the process of getting published. So hopefully by New Year I will have a hard copy of that. Another thing that I'm working on is this podcast room behind me in this wall. There's another additional room we have here. So we're going to be buying the paint this coming week. So by New Year's, hopefully that's ready, because there's going to be a special guest that's going to be starting a new show in there besides me. He's a well-known personality, well-known rapper from the West Coast. He was actually Tupac's best friend, E.D.I. Ono. So he's going to start coming through the building. And for me, like, my whole room is Tupac. You can't really see it because it's kind of bright, but everything Tupac. I love everything Tupac. And I told you, like, how I'm on a spiritual level with a bunch of stuff. Like, even before Tupac died, like, I always resonated with his music because, you know, telling you growing up, like, single parent, mom, all that stuff. So I don't know. I'm a huge Tupac fan. So for me to know that he's going to be next door and I'm going to be working with him, and the fact that I've got to record a track with Tommy Daughtry from Death Row Records, and that was his sound engineer for most of his career. For me, it's a spiritual thing to where I feel like that's the closest that I can ever be to Pac, is through his sound engineer and his best friend. So, you know, outlaw and musically. So
I'll do you one better too. I actually used to work closely with I consider him a mentor of mine, mixed engineer. His name is David Banta. he actually mixed on Tupac as well as NWA as well as Bone Thugs and Harmony. Like
that's awesome.
His chops are amazing chops. Like he taught me so much about sonic production and
Wow.
how to space things out.
And like tuning your ears and stuff like that, or what?
Well, not necessarily tuning ears, but he can do that. I mean, he was an adjunct professor at USC for a couple of years, taught classes on how to mix, so forth and so on. He definitely knows his business. If you're interested, I'll get you his information.
I'm definitely interested because I'm to the point now where I have all this gear in the studio. And even though I rap and I sing, I want to start learning how to engineer mixing and mastering. So that way I don't really have to rely on anybody else to do it for me. Because for me, I really look up to this artist named Russ. I don't know if you happen to know who he is, from Atlanta.
Yeah, I heard him.
He pretty much he's like self-made. He made himself into a multi-millionaire, which is now like top 20 on the Forbes list. So like he be doing everything himself, mixing, mastering, rapping, like running his own business. And for me right now, I feel I can look up to him the most because he's just so confident, and people hate on him. They're like, he's too cocky. And it's like, no, bro, like he really knows what he's doing. He really fucking with this game, with this business hard to be able to get like a 50-50 deal with Sony, and nobody in history has ever been able to do that. And you be able to, cap on all the stuff that you're doing, all your music without ain't nobody trying to take all your shit. You know what I mean? So, and I'm a female. So like watching his interviews and understanding the way that he has his tactics to running his business as a self-made, mogul, and the things that he's doing, I want to be at that level. I just need to learn how to mix, master, and engineer. So that's the next process, is finding a tutor to be able to come to the studio and start teaching me how to do that.
I'll set it up.
Cool.
Absolutely.
That'd be amazing.
That's my guy, man. David is I attribute so much to him, just because literally when I moved out here, I was looking for a place to record, and found him on Craigslist. Crazy, right? Nicest guy, real dope. But when I say has a stupid amount of wealth of knowledge in his head, bro, it's not even close. So I'll work what I can. I'll see what I can do to set that up.
Nice. That would be amazing.
I got you.
Even just to pick somebody's brain on how to do a few simple things, you know what I mean? Because I do watch YouTube, but I'm the type of person I would rather have somebody physically next to me, being able to talk, and instead of being distant but still being there. It's a difference between physicality and just like the whole internet and things like that.
Nah,
when I was a kid, I used to dream of life being this way, and it's actually like this for us now. So for me, I'm like, I'm living in the future the way I always thought it would
be. I get it, and me. However, I can help to get that facilitated. So, buckle it back down. I actually have sound bites of actual project that you spit bars on.
All right.
Okay. So it's what is it? Latinas is coming.
The Latinas is coming. Yeah. That's gonna be me, Fatal, and Vanessa Lene.
Okay, you got to and you bring it in.
So basically, we were in the studio one day. She showed up. He had a beat. They were working on a project. I was just here on my phone in the background while they were recording. She laid out her verse. He started adding some ad libs, and he's like, "What's good, Renae? You like this beat? You fuck with this?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's all right." He's like, "Come on, write something. Get on the track." And I was like, "Oh, you want to press me? You want to test me? Okay, let's go." So I wrote something down in 15 minutes, and then we recorded it, and then that's what we have now. And the team want to do a music video and get some things going with that song because, being brown and proud, it's like it's a big deal out here, especially in LA. So we want to get that cracking and see how all that goes down with the new project with that song. So I'm excited about it.
Cool. Well, we got it.
Latina. Made it.
Let's check it out.
Yeah, it's your man Fatal. Mommies, y'all up next. Let's get it. Latinos.
I pull up in demons in big trucks. Shotgun is only for big butts. Painted a vision and made the decision to get it. They pay me the big bucks. Y'all gotta move out the way, get out the frame. I need space, we ain't the same. I'm here to stay, not in your lane. I'm taking your place. Smooth on the move like a ballerina. Suck it to you, missy misdemeanor. I ain't afraid to get down and dirty. I ain't perfect, bitch, I'm Latina. Attitude in my current mood. Got a short fuse meant to intrude. It's a cold world at my altitude. Pressure is high at this magnitude. Y'all couldn't fathom my solitude. I'm the ice cream, show your gratitude. When you're looking up, it's a good view. When you're looking down, it's a bad move. When you're eye to eye and you realize it's do or die between you and I, just take the time to say goodbye. I'm a slaughter ruler, the suicide.
Hey, Latinas coming, woo! Latinas coming, woo! Latinas coming, woo! Them Latinas coming, woo! She ain't, you ain't, she ain't, you ain't, she ain't, you ain't fucking with my girls. No. No. What? You ain't fucking with my girls. No. No. What? You ain't fucking with my Latinas is coming. Them Latinas is coming. Them Latinas is coming. You know they up to something. Them Latinas is coming. Them Latinas is coming. Them Latinas is coming. You know they up to something. Hey,
they talking money, but they never buy the shit we need. They talking smoke, but they never ever burn the weed. They want the sacrifice, but never ever do they bleed. They want to grow, but never ever water up the seed. I am the mommy, ain't nothing on me. And if it is, it's gonna be poppy. How does he want it? Cleaning and sloppy. I am that bitch, just a bit raunchy. Tearing it up, eat the salami. Make it so wet, damn a tsunami. How does it feel? How do you want me? For what you gonna do when shit hit the fan? Reality check. Oh, you a man? Excuse me, miss. I think I went ma'am. Now you a bitch. I don't understand. Turn up that shit, cause this is a jam. Time to rewind and play it again. Puffing that joint, smoking the gram. Latina is me. It is who I am.
So, for future reference, everything you say afterwards, you gotta say bars. If you say something else, and like, "Hey man, I went to the bathroom," bars. Like you got bars. That's what we do in the East, man. Like you got bars, kid.
Yeah, baby, I do. I mean, most of the time I could come up with bars like it's nothing, especially when I'm pressured. When people pressure me to write, that's when I'm the most creative because I feel like I got something to prove. But when I'm just chilling, I get a lot of writer's block and I be writing and writing and writing and writing. I'm like, what am I going to do with this? But then when somebody comes in the studio and they have a beat or they're like, let's work together, I feel like there's a little bit more magic stirring up between all of us. And then that's when things actually flow a lot better for me, is when I'm around people, when I'm working with people. I feel like the more creative juices are flowing and like you got an idea that I could bounce off and then we bounce off that idea and together we're all just kind of, working together. So it's cool. But yeah, that's why I want to learn how to engineer, mix and master. So when I am alone, I can bounce off my own ideas instead of trying to feel like I need somebody in the studio all the time. But I love the creative process behind writing and just producing the whole thing, getting it together.
Bars. See, I gotta remind you, bars. Nah, that's what's up, man.
Bars.
You definitely got good work. You got good work. You got a lot of talent, man, for real.
I appreciate it. I'm just ready to let the world see my talent and shine. And I'm already to the point where a lot of people say you can't make it after a certain age. I'm 38. I've seen people over 45 start their careers in Hollywood and be successful. So for me, I feel that I've been there's a momentum that I've been building to a point where I'm going to get to, and then I'm going to have my moment where I shine. Because, some people have a little spurt here, then they have, like a one-hit wonder here, then this happens. But for me, I'm a Virgo and I'm very organized, and I've always known that there has to be a budget behind something great. And I don't come from a budget that's great, because you obviously know I'm from the ghetto. Shit, swipe that EBT for free. But now that I'm in a place where I'm working with people who believe in me and inspire me and see my talent and want to invest in me, that's where things are gradually moving forward and getting to that place where it's going to happen. So,
well, I think singularly, the thing that I learned was the game is about it's all a game of platforms, and who's monitoring these platforms. How many numbers can you substantiate? How many numbers do you have that can substantiate your platform? And I mean, ultimately, I think that's the biggest thing, is that you have all of the talent in the world. The world is your oyster. You just need more people to see what you do.
Thank you.
That's literally it.
I need to start filming myself more on freaking online all the time. But because I am managing the studio as a business, and because I am an artist, I'm always going to put the business before my art, because the money got to come first before my art isn't paying myself right now. I'm not Russ. So
totally understand where you come from with that. I totally get it. And I mean, you absolutely are hitting the nail on the head. But the singular moment for me was understanding that, you obviously got to do what you got to do. The means got to justify the ends. But the difference between seeking a plug and being a plug, two totally different things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's what
I've always been the plug. Everybody call me. They're like, Renae know the deals. Renae know the discount. Renae know where to get free food. She know where to do free laundry. She know where to get this. She know where to get free gas. Like, I got the hookup. You call me, I always got the hookup on something.
And now you need more people to know that.
Yeah,
sure. And so that's
well, my dream, one of my goals is to I actually reached out to Dana Chanel and her father. I don't know if you know who she is as an entrepreneur. She's pretty big on the East Coast. She has this brand called Curl Bible, where she has her own hair products. And then her father and her husband that she just married, they do a bunch of property investments. They've gone to like Philly. They've restored and redone a bunch of buildings. And she basically has this business called Jumping Jack Taxes or something like that. So she came to LA one time and did this thing for the BET Awards, where she sat outside and talked to regular people instead of going to the award show, and like, showing how as an entrepreneur that like Hollywood and glamour and all that don't really matter. It's about hustling and making money and all this stuff. Well, I reached out to her dad, because they said, if you want to get help with an app and you have an idea, reach out to us and call us, I did. Her father never reached back out to me. Turns out along the way, I heard they were doing some scams, but my idea still stands. What I want to do, it's called Nae's Way. And what I want it to be is a very simple app. You put in your zip code and you put in what you need, A through Z. You're a single mom, you need Pampers. You put in Pampers. There's going to be a place in Sun Valley that's going to give you free Pampers. You need groceries. There's going to be multiple places where you can go get groceries. You need a shower. Oh, the Hope of the Valley's down the street off Lancashire. They got public showers. Go over there. You need something here. You need something there. You need something, whatever you need, somebody can help you. And even if you can't find it, there'll be other people on the app who will be like, oh, I got a lemon tree. These lemons are falling everywhere. They're bugging me. I don't know what to do with them. Someone come pick them up. Then somebody goes and picks up all the lemons and makes lemon meringue pies for the freaking pie shop down the street. I mean, it's just all about like uniting, being one, sharing, and just kind of, helping each other out. So that's been an idea, excuse me, of mine for 2 years. And I do want to make that shit happen, like for real, because there's so many people that need resources and they're too embarrassed to say it or to find the plug to go get those resources. And for me, I am the plug, and I want to take it even further to the extent of being able to help out people that I don't know and that I'll probably never meet through this app. You know what I mean? So it's like we all need something one way or another, whether it's like help with your electricity bill, your phone bill, some mental issues, you need to see a counselor, whatever the issue may be, somebody always needs something. So I want the app to be able to help people for whatever it is that they may be going through that, you know what I mean? They're too embarrassed to reach out. So there's the app. Boom. You go somewhere, you get what you need, and you're good.
Nah, it's definitely it's a necessity.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I mean that's the biggest thing is it's like, there's a distinct difference between something being ambitious and something being a necessity. And I think you definitely have isolated a necessity. It just needs to get done.
Yeah.
I got no doubt that it will. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's gonna get done. I like I haven't met you, I already know.
Now I just got to get like with the app developer and figure out how much it's going to cost me to make it really happen. You know what I mean? And how many people are going to download, how I market it so people can download it, going through an app store and all that other stuff. So there's like a whole technical science behind this thing that I don't know about. I just have the idea to help people, and that's all I really care about.
You'll get it done. So we had some other little topics and so forth and so on that was listed, but we're gonna skirt by it for time's sake. But we're gonna run through a couple segments for hot topics, and then we're gonna go to
hot topics. Ow.
that part shortly. My playlist popping. This is something I affectionately do for my guests. What you got on your playlist right now that you think everybody need to be hip on that maybe they're not hip on?
Well, there's a lot of different things that I've been listening to, especially during COVID. I don't know if you guys have heard of that show called Colors. You ever heard of Colors on YouTube? They have a bunch of different independent artists like from around the world and stuff like that. So I'd be listening to some people in different languages that I don't even understand, people that I don't even know. And I like that show a lot because it's not Drake, it's not Rihanna. Not to say I don't love those artists, but it's like when you get new artists and you start listening to different things, it's more fun instead of listening to the same people all at the time. So there's a new artist, Etta Bond, that I kind of resonated with. I like her a lot. I have mentioned Russ a lot already, but he's literally one of my favorite living rappers right now. And it's not just because, he's dope, but I just like his whole mindset to business and the things that he's put out there to teach people what you can do with yourself as a business while you're in music. And even though you think that there's not money in it nowadays, you can still, he proves that you can still, you could thrive. So
okay.
Yeah, a lot of holiday stuff I've been listening to, like old school stuff from 1980s and stuff like that today, though. But in my playlist, it's a lot of R&B. A lot of R&B. Even though I love to rap and listen to rap and ghetto shit, I love ghetto shit. Like, ghetto shit is my favorite shit. I do. I love ghetto shit.
I own it. I get it. I'm with it, too. Everybody got had their ratchet.
Yep, I love it ratchet. Extra ratchet.
Hey, man.
A little more ratchet on top.
the Salt Bay ratchet over there. All right, next topic. Netflix, what? Like, what you viewing right now on the COVID? When you COVID and chilling, what's your COVID and chill like? Either movie or TV show, and it doesn't even have to be Netflix. It's just Netflix.
I honestly don't watch a lot of movies or a lot of TV, but one show I did get into during COVID, especially at the beginning of May, I was watching Black as Fuck. Have you seen that show?
I love that.
Bro, he's fucking hilarious.
It's people. So many people don't give it its due. It is.
They don't get him. They don't get his dry humor. Like, he's funny as fuck. You know what I mean? I started watching Black as Fuck, and I thought that I'm ready for the next season. I'm like, why isn't it out yet?
Yeah,
I'm waiting. Come on, I'm waiting for that shit. Like, what the fuck? I know I seen you over there off of Pico and La Brea at the freaking Jamaican spot. So
Hey, look, it's kind of COVID. I get it, but no, I definitely agree. I think I was never really big on Blackish. I just wasn't. I felt it
I
was.
never even really seen it, but I think he's the same producer, right?
Yeah, but Black as Fuck is basically Black as Fuck is basically unfiltered version of Blackish. That's it.
Oh, okay.
I draw more closer to Black as Fuck because it's open. It's wide open. Like it's like
I love it because it totally shows you like upgraded Black Beverly Hills America type of shit. Like if you go to the East Coast or the Midwest, you're not going to find Black families like that. And that's what makes it so funny. Like if you're from LA and you catch the vibe and you're out here and you know what it's about, like that shit's funny as fuck. You know what I mean? But some people are going to judge it and not really understand it. So, and it's because they probably never had a different taste of that type of lifestyle. So
it touches on so many residual issues within Black and brown culture that it goes unnoticed. And I love the fact that he brought in all of the other Black creators in that one episode with Tyler Perry and Issa Rae and the Shy the lady from the Shy, I forgot what her name is right now. But you know what I mean? Like he touched on so many different things within it, and like the dryness of his humor. I love dry humor.
Me too. It's my favorite because I'm sarcastic as fuck.
Listen, there's a certain genius to being clever with sarcasticness, and I resonated with it better than the way Anthony Anderson presents it on Blackish. That's the best way I could put it. So now I'm glad that you said that. It was hilarious, and I am too. Waiting for season 2. So
it's funny because like I was trying to watch several different things and I was like watching the pilot and then I get through halfway through the episode watching it for like half an hour and I'm like, you know what? This shit's boring. And then while I was in the room, I just heard myself laughing so hard. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't laughed so hard in so long. Like this shit is funny. So I think I watched I think it's just the first season. Yeah, I watched it within 2 days and I don't watch TV at all. So for me to be glued to that show, I was like, wow, this shit's funny. And then I'm like, who the hell is Kenya Barris? It's like, oh, he's the producer of Blackish. But then I never really saw Blackish, but I know that Diana Ross's daughter is in that show and I like her a lot. So
Tracy Ellis Ross, shout out. But Blackish, Grownish, all the Nextish, whatever he got.
I'm gonna manifest being a brown actress in one of Kenya Barris's production in the next year. How about that? Because he's funny.
You heard it here first on the beat. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
That would be fun as fuck, dude. I wanna hang out with him. I just want to pick his brain a little bit. You know what I mean? Just to see how goofy he really is.
And so you say, and so shall it be.
Shall it be?
2021. That's my motto my mantra for 2021.
Maybe he'll start some show called Brownish. Who knows? We'll get that show on that shit.
Indeed. So we pretty close to time. You got any advice for aspiring talent? Anybody that wants to be like you or aspire to accomplish the things that you've accomplished up to the point?
Yeah, I would just basically say don't take no for an answer. If I didn't take no for an answer, I honestly wouldn't be here. Like the lady of this building who is now my life coach, who is pretty much my everything. She's like my inspiration, my angel. Ilani K, shout out. When I found out about this building, I bugged her for like 4 months. I'm like, I gotta get up in that building. I got studio equipment in the storage and I haven't had a studio for almost 4 months. So I need to get up in that building. And I kept texting her every other day, like, hey, is the room still available? Da, 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 da. Then she started having me come to workshops and started bringing people and started seeing my hustler mentality. Then she had like a group of people who wanted to move in the building and she made everybody write down a note of how many ways you can hustle. Some people wrote 3 or 4 things on a list. I had both front and back page. So she was like, yeah, I see how you work. And then once I got in here, I've already been here for like 1.5 years and good things are happening too. Cause now Too Short just came to the building the other day and they're filming a BET show here with P. Williams. So it's pretty exciting. A bunch of cool people are popping up in this building, and a lot of Bay Area vibes going on too. You know what I mean? So shout out to the Bay.
Awesome. You know what's funny about that is it's on twofold too, because this is a double header. I actually had a guest on before you, and he's in the Bay right now. It's a good friend of mine. I know mostly you might as well say my entire life, and so we're already talking about Bay love. But the fact that the second half of that doubleheader is that I've been confused with Too Short. I don't know why, but I have been. So it's just like, wow, you know, life has a funny way of speaking. And so when you say that, it's just like, that descended upon this interview.
And then E40's going to be on the show too. But you know what? I just have a thought. I want to put this out there for anybody that's listening. We need to get E40 his star on the Hollywood Boulevard already. Because when I first moved out here 8 years ago, he's one of my favorite rappers. And like, he doesn't get a lot of the credit that he deserves. So Hollywood, y'all need to acknowledge him already, okay?
Does Short have a star?
I don't think so. I know Snoop does. Ice Cube does.
Well, I mean, you know, that's Snoop and Ice Cube.
Given, yeah.
But yeah, both I nominate E40 and Too Short. Both of them deserve a star down there.
Yeah, they do.
On the walk. So that's that.
Well, hopefully we see that 2021. Shoot.
So we said it. So,
it's gonna happen.
So shout out. Yeah. You heard it on the beat again. Lastly, how can people learn more about you, Renae? I'm sorry, NaeNae Vision.
Well, yes, Renae, government given name. Y'all can follow me on Instagram, NaeNae Vision. I do got a Twitter. I got a Facebook. I mean, you can pretty much stalk me. My address, my phone number's there to the building. If you guys want to come collaborate, create, I'm here, 4000 West. The name of the building is the address. Don't forget it. And like I said, just keep staying creative. If people tell you it's not a good idea, but you have a feeling about it, just keep pushing your ideas, because small-minded people are always going to have something to say. You know what I mean?
It's like they run the planet for some strange reason.
Humans are like assholes. Everybody has them.
I learned that when I moved to LA. No shots fired.
But just stay hustling, man. Like whatever you can do to just keep your dream thriving. Don't let the words get in the way, especially a lot of energy. Like people will always try to shift your energy. So just make sure that you're focused.
Well, so it's a post that I put up, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, but it was definitely within a month. And I said, you know, don't ever get upset about people not noticing you while you're with them. There was people that sat right by Clark Kent and couldn't, and you know, sat right with him and didn't know he was Superman. You know what I mean? And it's just that kind of thing. You know, that's our path. We're superheroes. That's what we do. We cut from a different cloth. Not everybody can dictate that path, and I truly believe in that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like this fireman to run head first in the building. I'm never gonna run head first into a building unless my kids is in there or my significant other. Other than that, it's like, hell, get help. I hope you okay. You know what I mean? But there's some people that just do that. So in the grand scheme of things, like I say, we all cut different. So I don't let other people's ideas about what my life should be dictate my movements. So that's my word on it.
Word.
Nonetheless, look, NaeNae Vision, always a pleasure. You are already
know. Having me.
Yeah, listen, anything. If I got a platform, the platform was yours to speak on and get you the shine that you deserve, sister. I respect it. I respect everything that you do. I respect your hustle. I respect everything about you. Just keep doing what you do. And let's get this bag. You know what I mean?
Let's get 5 of them.
Let's get right.
I'll be holding one in between my knees too. Shit.
At the end of the day, this is Donnie B got the beat on the beat. This sister right here is undeniable. Get her 5 or 6 bags, the ones behind the knees and everything. Get it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this work. But nonetheless, everybody in the interim, stay masked up, stay blessed. Happy holidays. And by the way,
happy holidays. Stay healthy.
By the way, this is Tuesday. In 2 days' time, I'm going to be on the Wheel of Fortune. So,
I'm watching it.
You gotta watch it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear nobody shit about I should have did this or I should have did that. At the end of the day, when you on it, it's
You
different.
look really handsome in your suit too. You were looking all cute. I saw your picture on Instagram. I was like, oh, heart.
You know, I have a certain set of skills. You know, but you know, we let
spelling bee winner. We'll see how good you turn out, huh?
We'll see. We'll see. I say I can neither confirm nor deny my status on the watch it, and we'll see. We'll have the.
I hope you are. I hope you're driving a new car that we don't know about.
I can neither confirm nor deny. But at the end of the day, I would hope that you pay attention. But nonetheless, this interview has not been about me. It's been about NaeNae Vision. At the end of the day, everybody, like I said, everybody, happy holidays. Stay safe. Stay masked up. Stay blessed. And we're going to look to good fortune in 2021. Remember, so shall you say, so shall it be in 2021.
Blessings for everybody.
Indeed. All right. We out.
Donnie B.